I never once thought the woman I adored, the same woman I nearly gave my life to save, would one day look me straight in the eyes and say, she had discovered happiness without me. This isn't just a tale of marriage or betrayal. It's a story of sacrifice, of how far love can push a man, and of the heartbreaking moment he realizes that giving everything still wasn't enough. Stay with me to hear what happened next. And please remember to support our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing with your loved ones. Your encouragement means everything to us. Now back to the story. My name is Michael Anderson. I live in a quiet suburb just outside Chicago, in a house that once overflowed with laughter and love. When Olivia and I married, I vowed to stay by her side. Through sickness and health. I meant every single word. Life wasn't without its storms, but I believed love could weather them all. The true test came the day doctors confirmed Olivia's kidneys were failing. I can still recall the sterile hospital smell, the endless beeping of machines, and the solemn weight in the physician's voice as he explained her condition. She would need a transplant soon. Without one, her future was uncertain. I didn't hesitate. I demanded to be tested, praying with all I had that I'd be a match. When the results came back positive, relief surged through me. My body, my blood. They could keep her alive. It felt like fate had chosen me not only as her husband, but as her lifeline. For me, there was no decision to make. This was love in its purest form. Preparing for surgery was exhausting. Endless tests, stacks of paperwork, conversations about every possible risk. The doctors warned of complications, chronic pain, slow recovery, limits on my lifestyle. But none of it mattered. I pressed on. Every time I reassured Olivia, her deep brown eyes would fill with tears. We'll get through this. You're not alone, I told her. On the morning of the operation, I lay on a stiff hospital bed, harsh fluorescent lights glaring above me. I reached for Olivia's hand. You're my hero, Michael, she whispered. Those words etched themselves into my soul. I closed my eyes and surrendered to anesthesia, holding one thought. This sacrifice would bind us together forever. When I awoke groggy and weak, the first words I forced out were, "Is Olivia okay?" Dr. Brooks smiled gently. "She's stable. The surgery went well." Relief swept over me like a tide. My body ached, my side throbbed. But none of it mattered. Olivia had been given another chance at life. Seeing her afterward made every pain worthwhile. She was pale but alive, her eyes glassy as she reached for my hand. "You saved me," she whispered. I told her she didn't need to thank me. Love doesn't keep score. Love just gives. For weeks we recovered side by side, our scars and bandages a reminder of what we had endured together. Family and friends came bearing prayers, casseroles, and kind words. They called me a hero, but I never saw it that way. I was simply a husband doing what husbands should do: protect, provide, and give whatever was needed for the woman he loved. At night, when the ward was silent, I would watch Olivia sleep. I'd trace her face with my eyes, whisper quiet prayers of gratitude, and dream of the future we still had before us. I believed my sacrifice had secured not just her life, but our love forever. The weeks after surgery felt like living in a new beginning. Recovery was slow, marked by small triumphs. Her first walk down the hallway, her first laugh without pain, her first steady grip on a cup of tea. Each moment reassured me that giving part of myself was worth it. When we were finally discharged, stepping back into our home felt unreal. The familiar creak of the front steps, the soft glow of the kitchen light, the faint hum of traffic outside. Everything felt sweeter, sharper, as though nearly losing it had made life glow brighter. Olivia wrapped her arms around me in the doorway, her cheek pressed to my chest. "We made it," she whispered. I thought those 3 words would carry us forever. Neighbors stopped by with balloons, casseroles, and cards. In those first months, Olivia seemed renewed, lighter, happier, full of gratitude. She'd sit on the porch with her chamomile tea and say, "I feel like I've been handed a new canvas." I'd smile, watching her glow return, convinced my sacrifice had painted the first stroke of our new life. We celebrated milestones. 6 months post-surgery, Olivia was cleared to go back to work. I still remember her excitement, laying out her favorite dress the night before, humming as she packed her bag, watching her step back into her office. Her co-workers cheering her return filled my chest with pride. One evening, as the sun sank low, I told her, "This has brought us closer than ever. Nothing could come between us now." She leaned on my shoulder and sighed. "I know, Michael. I'll never forget what you've done for me." Those words nourished me. I believed I had won not just her health, but her loyalty forever. Our future, I thought, was secure. Stronger, brighter, unshakable. A year passed after the surgery. Life found its rhythm again. My scar had healed, though sometimes a dull ache reminded me of the price. Olivia looked vibrant, healthy, alive. She returned to her hobbies, her laughter once again filling our home. At gatherings, she would squeeze my hand and say, "Michael gave me a second chance." I clung to those words as if they were sacred. But behind the normal days, cracks had already begun to spread. Cracks I couldn't see. It was a Tuesday evening when everything changed. I came home from work, loosened my tie, and found Olivia at the dining table. In front of her lay a manila envelope. Her hands were folded neatly, her calm expression unsettling me. "Michael," she began, her voice detached. "We need to talk." I forced a nervous smile. "That sounds serious. What is it?" She slid the envelope toward me. My chest tightened as I opened it. Divorce papers. Her name, my name, typed in neat, clinical print. Final. For a moment my vision blurred. "Olivia, what is this?" I croaked. She looked at me like I was a stranger. "I've found real happiness, Michael. With someone else. His name is Liam Williams. I want a divorce." The silence that followed was suffocating. My heart thundered in my chest, each beat heavy and unbearable. "After all I endured, after giving you a piece of myself, after nearly breaking my body just to keep you alive." Her gaze stayed steady. "I'm thankful, truly," she said, "but gratitude isn't love. Liam makes me feel alive in ways you never could." Her words struck like a blade of ice. My knees buckled, and I grabbed the chair nearby just to keep standing. Confusion tangled with despair inside my head. Gratitude isn't love. Wasn't sacrifice proof? Did my devotion mean nothing at all? That night I sat alone in the living room. Divorce papers spread across the coffee table. The house felt empty, every corner echoing with the life we once built. My body still bore the scar of what I had given for her. And now my heart carried one too. Days blurred into weeks, each morning heavier than the one before. I begged for clarity, pleaded for another chance. "Olivia, can't we fix this? Don't throw us away." But she was resolute. She packed her clothes, her perfume, her shoes, leaving only faint traces of herself behind. I stood at the doorway, watching as she loaded her car. She never once looked back. Betrayal gnawed at me. Nights were the worst. I'd wake from dreams of us laughing, only to be swallowed by silence. My chest ached, not only from the surgery scar but from the hollow place where love had once lived. I replayed everything. The hospital, her whispered gratitude, the way she once clung to me. Had it all been a lie? Friends tried to comfort me. Some said, "Michael, you're better off without her." Others just shook their heads. But none of it dulled the sting of being left behind. I thought love was unbreakable. Instead, it shattered in my hands. I stopped going out. I skipped family dinners. Even work became a weight I couldn't carry. My co-workers saw it. The slump in my shoulders, the emptiness in my eyes. One evening, my boss pulled me aside. "Michael, take some time if you need it. You've been through hell." But time didn't heal quickly. Every hour stretched, filled with questions I couldn't answer. Why wasn't love enough? Why wasn't sacrifice enough? I clung to the faint hope she'd realize her mistake and return. But weeks turned to months, and I saw pictures of her with Liam, smiling at candlelit dinners, traveling on vacations, dressed in new clothes. Each image twisted the knife deeper. I was left in the house we once called home, surrounded by shadows of a love that no longer existed. At night, the scar along my side throbbed, a cruel reminder of the body I had given up for her. She had taken my kidney, my trust, and my heart, and discarded them as though they were never enough. So I sat in silence, staring at the divorce decree under the dim lamp, facing the brutal truth. I had saved her life, but I couldn't save our marriage. From the outside, Olivia's world sparkled. She and Liam moved into a downtown loft with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Chicago's skyline. Friends whispered about her glow, her newfound energy, her laughter that sounded louder, freer. Her social media overflowed with brunches at chic cafes, weekends in Napa, shopping trips in New York. To anyone scrolling by, she looked reborn, finally living the life she claimed she deserved. But behind those polished snapshots, reality was different. At first, Liam overwhelmed her with affection. He called her his queen, brought her roses, swept her into fine restaurants. He told her she was too beautiful to waste on mediocrity. Olivia believed him, even though his words carried contempt for the steady devotion I once gave. Soon the cracks began to show. Liam's charm dimmed whenever money came up. Olivia had a stable career, and savings carefully built during our marriage. Liam had ambition but no solid ground. He spoke of ventures, investments, opportunities always just out of reach. More often than not, Olivia ended up paying dinners, weekend trips, even his rent when his checks came late. She brushed it off. It's temporary, she told herself. He just needs a little help getting started. But the truth settled in. Liam cared more about what she could provide than who she really was. The distance grew. He spent hours at the gym, obsessed with his reflection, while Olivia craved deeper conversations. When she asked about their future, he dodged. We're living in the moment, babe. Why ruin it with heavy talks? At a dinner party, Liam dominated the table with tales of his business ventures. When someone praised Olivia's career, he laughed, yeah, but she wouldn't shine if I wasn't pushing her. Olivia forced a smile, ignoring the sting. The freedom she once celebrated now felt suffocating. Her mornings grew lonelier. Liam slipped out early with vague excuses. The loft, once thrilling, now felt like a glass cage. And then came the whispers. Friends hinted they'd seen him with other women. When Olivia finally confronted him, her voice shook. Are you seeing someone else? He smirked. You're paranoid. Don't ruin this with your insecurities. His dismissal hurt more than a confession ever could. Still, Olivia clung to the fantasy. To admit the truth would mean facing the weight of her mistake. So she kept posting filtered smiles, hiding the fractures spreading through her life. Meanwhile, the very health I had given back began to fail her. At first it was subtle, fatigue, dizziness, headache she chalked up to stress. Liam barely noticed, or chose not to, too consumed with his next big break. Olivia fought her dread alone. Friends who once celebrated her new life grew weary of her excuses for Liam and drifted away. Isolated, her once bright laughter turned thin. She had traded loyalty for empty promises. Deep down, she knew she had exchanged gold for dust. But pride is a heavy mask, one she wore tightly, even as the walls closed in. And when her body failed her once more, Olivia realized too late that Liam's affection was as fleeting as smoke, ready to disappear just when she needed him the most. The first collapse struck on a rainy Thursday afternoon. She had been at work, typing an email, when sudden dizziness washed over her. Her body gave way, her head hitting the desk, and her colleagues rushed her to the hospital. The tests confirmed the truth she had long feared but chosen to ignore. Complications with her only remaining kidney. This time the doctors spoke with no softness in their tone. Your kidney function has dropped severely, Olivia. We'll need to monitor you closely. You can't push this aside anymore. Shaken, she called Liam. He picked up, his voice distracted. I'm in the middle of something. Can this wait? I'm at the hospital, she whispered, tears tightening her throat. It's serious. Silence. Then a weary sigh. I'll come by later. But later never came. That night, lying beneath dim hospital lights, Olivia scrolled through her phone and saw Liam's social media. He was at a bar laughing, drink in hand. The betrayal settled inside her chest like lead. In the weeks that followed, her health spiraled further. More appointments, more medications, and exhaustion clinging to her every step. Liam, instead of drawing closer, drifted away. Late nights, flimsy excuses, and eventually no explanations at all. One evening, when she begged him to pick up her prescriptions because she was too weak to drive, he snapped. I'm not your errand boy, Olivia. Don't make me regret everything. She sat trembling on the couch, pill bottles rattling in her hands. For the first time, she saw him clearly, not a partner, not even a supporter, but a man who had only fed off her time, her energy, her desperation. The breaking point came on a night filled with pain. Drenched in sweat, Olivia reached across the bed, but Liam's side was cold. Hours later, when he returned, she confronted him in a trembling voice. Liam, I need you. I can't do this alone. He didn't sit down. His eyes were empty. This isn't what I signed up for. You're becoming a burden. Those words shattered her more than the diagnosis itself. She finally saw the truth. Liam had never been her salvation, only her downfall, masked by charm. Days later, she returned from yet another hospital visit to find his closet empty, his belongings gone. On the counter lay a single note. I can't do this anymore. Don't call me. The loft echoed with silence, every corner a reminder of her choices. She sank to the living room floor, clutching the note, sobbing. Her mind replayed memories of me. The hospital where I gave her my kidney. The nights I stayed awake to ease her pain. The way I held her hand through it all. The contrast cut deep. The man who sacrificed part of his body to save her, and the man who abandoned her at her weakest. Her health kept declining, and with no one left to lean on, desperation circled her. Friends had drifted. Family offered pity, not comfort. And Liam was gone. Karma, sharp and merciless, had found its way back to her. Once again in a hospital bed, Olivia whispered into the emptiness, Michael, I'm sorry. But I wasn't there to hear it. Weeks later, word of her condition reached me through a mutual friend. For a moment, concern flickered, an old instinct from years of caring for her. But reality soon grounded me. She was no longer my responsibility. The scar along my side reminded me of the price I had already paid. Still, curiosity lingered. And one autumn afternoon, returning from work, I found her on my porch. Olivia looked nothing like the vibrant woman who had once walked away from me with confidence. Her skin was pale, her eyes sunken, her frame swallowed by a loose coat. She clutched her handbag as if it were the only thing keeping her standing. Michael, she whispered. I froze, caught between pity and anger. Why are you here? Tears welled in her eyes. I made a mistake. Liam left me. I was blind, Michael. I thought I was chasing happiness, but it was emptiness. You were the one who truly loved me. Please, can we try again? Her words lingered in the crisp air. For a moment, memories played. Our laughter, quiet nights on the porch, whispered promises. I remembered the gratitude in her voice after the transplant. But then came the memory of divorce papers in an envelope, the cold look in her eyes when she said gratitude wasn't love. I shook my head slowly. Olivia, I gave you everything I could, even part of my body, and you threw it away. Do you have any idea what that did to me? The nights I lay awake, wondering why I wasn't enough. She broke down, reaching for my hand. I know. And I regret it every single day. I don't expect forgiveness, but I need you, Michael. I don't want to die alone. Her desperation pierced me, but the truth remained. Since her betrayal, I had rebuilt myself piece by piece, through therapy, long walks, and the support of real friends. And in that healing, I had found someone new. Charlotte Walker, gentle, kind, steady. She gave me love without conditions, without demands. I pulled my hand back. Olivia, I hope you find peace. But I've moved on. My life isn't yours to reclaim. Her shoulders sagged, her sobs echoing into the night as she walked away, her figure shrinking under the setting sun. I felt no victory, only quiet closure. Later that night, as I sat beside Charlotte, her hand warm in mine, I understood the lesson life had carved into me. Love must be honored to last. Sacrifice must be cherished to mean something. Olivia gambled with both, and karma returned the debt. The scar on my side no longer feels like a wound, it's a reminder of resilience. I gave a piece of myself in love, and though that love was betrayed, I rose stronger. Olivia's story ended in regret. Mine continued in renewal. Because love once betrayed can never be restored, and karma, patient as ever, always arrives. Hi friends. Tell me, if you were in this situation, What would you do? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss the next one. Comment your city. We'd love to see how far this story travels. See you in the next.